Hello friends, welcome back to another Monday motivational video. If you are new here, welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing our backyard garden transformation, but first I'm going to start with breakfast. We have a full day outside, and so I'm wanting to fill everybody up and get breakfast going before we head outside. I'm going to be making a Panera souffle. This is the copycat version that I made a couple videos ago, and I'll go ahead and post the link for that down below in the description box. If you are at all familiar with the Panera souffles, this is a really great version of it, and I feel like it is so similar. We don't have a Panera anywhere near us, so I kind of went on a hunt not that long ago looking for some copycat versions of some of the recipes that I could do for my family. And I swear this is such a close version to one of their souffles that they have. I like adding kind of my own ingredients into it, and you could definitely do the same. So sometimes I'll do spinach. I'm going to be adding a bunch of mushrooms in this one because I have that on hand. You could add tomatoes, you could add different kinds of cheeses, different kinds of meats. We have used different kinds of meats too. I believe last time I did ham. This time I'm only going to be doing bacon. I like to do whatever I have on hand, and so that's what I'm doing again today. While I'm finishing making the souffle, I'll go ahead and talk about some of the plans that I have for our backyard, our garden area that we're going to be working on in today's video. I have been wanting to expand our garden for the last few years. I do love gardening. I'm not the greatest at it, but I try every year to learn something new about what I'm planting. I try to add in a new vegetable or fruit and learn about that, and just kind of as I go, I'm learning and getting better and better at it. So I am by no means an expert at gardening, but I do try really hard, and I'm wanting to grow our garden a lot bigger this year. If you are new here, we had a son pass away last year, and he was really sick the year before. So we have not had a bunch of time and energy to devote to the garden the last few years, and we really had very minimal stuff, like a couple tomato plants, a couple pepper plants, and that was pretty much it for the last few years. But I'm wanting to really expand and put some time and energy into it this summer. One of my biggest goals for this garden project is to have it really budget friendly. I'm wanting to use as much stuff that we possibly can on hand before we go out and buy anything. So we had posts that I'm not really sure what they use them for. They've been here since we moved in like 4 years ago. So we have posts that we're going to be using. We'll cut them down and we're going to cement them into the ground. And then we have some garden boxes that we're going to use. We have some lumber already on hand that we were going to use for a different project, but it ended up not working out. So we have some extra wood that we can build some garden boxes from. We're going to just try our best to use as much as we possibly can on hand before we go to the store. Of course, there is a couple of things that we need at the store first, but we are going to do our best to keep this as budget friendly as we possibly can. I also did buy some small plants, like I did get a couple tomato plants and a couple pepper plants, stuff like that I will be planting, but I also am starting a lot of stuff from seeds as well. So I will, at the end of this video, give a whole tour of what we did plant in the garden and kind of the layout of the garden, how we are doing things so far, and get you completely up to speed with how everything went and how everything currently is at the moment. But that will be at the very end of the video. We are finishing up some breakfast, and then we're going to head to Home Depot, get a couple of things like screws. We needed a couple more pieces of wood to finish things off, and then we're going to get started. So the majority of this video is actually from Mother's Day weekend, where we planted everything, we arranged all the garden, we put the fencing on and stuff like that. But a couple days prior, we wanted to go ahead and put in the posts for the garden and kind of map out exactly where it was going to go. The first post, you can see it, it's right here, this wooden post right at the front of the camera. My husband is working on the second post. We decided to do this a couple days before we put the fencing on, because even though the bag, we used a quick dry concrete, and even though on the bag it only says 20 minutes, that was so inaccurate. It took a lot longer than 20 minutes. So I don't know if that's dependent on climate or what, but I know that when we decided to put in a last minute post for something we're going to be adding, when we had let it dry for over an hour, and then when we came to it to put the fencing on, it actually was not dry, it was not set, so we ended up kind of skipping it and moving over it for later. But yeah, if you plan on doing this, like I said, I'm not sure if it's based on like weather or climate or anything like that, but if it is, ours took a lot longer. So we put these in, we made sure they were level, and then we gave it a couple days for them to dry and really harden before we put on the rest of the fencing and all that. I do want to point out, because it's not as apparent in the video, but my kids are actually all outside helping. I know a lot of people on YouTube can be very opinionated about kids helping out, and my kids, I am so lucky because my kids, they are always willing to be so helpful, and they are being very helpful. They're all outside, but you actually will not really see them a lot of the time. A lot of the time they're kind of playing. You'll see them run back and forth. There's my daughter. She is kicking a soccer ball around while she's moving these buckets of dirt. So they all are all around us, but you're just not really seeing them. My 15-year-old, he is over to the left of me. He is behind our house. We have this golf cart garage, and he's actually organizing that, cleaning things out of it. He's getting the leaves from around our AC unit. So, and then our younger boys, they're kind of running around. They're helping periodically. They have friends across the alleyway over here that they're playing with, and they're just kind of all over the place. So we actually all are out here, but it just doesn't always show that in the videos. So just so you know, all hands are on deck, but it's just not always apparent.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go.
So as you can see, this is Mother's Day weekend again. We have let the posts harden over the last few days, and now we're going to do the fencing. We have a couple last minute posts that we're putting in. I'm going to, while I'm waiting for my husband and my son to kind of finalize a couple of the posts, I'm going to then go around and kind of put in any loose plants that we have. We have like peppers and marigolds, stuff like that. I'm going to plant to kind of get out of the way in the flower beds that I know that are going to be remaining here. We still have to build a couple more, but the ones that are already built, they're already here, we're going to go ahead and get them planted. Now I will post the link for these flower beds below. I believe they're the 4 by 1 foot or 4 by 2 foot beds, and they were really cheap You can get them in different colors. I got them on Amazon a couple years ago, so if I can find the link, which I believe they're still available, I'll go ahead and link it down below in the description box, because these were so affordable and they have been really, really great for us. So we added a couple more posts to the side of the garden, and they're going to be kind of like a decorative thing. So he was letting them dry with concrete, and while he did that, he's going to build another garden bed. This one is going to be shorter than these metal ones here, but it is really long. I want to say it's 8 foot, so it is very long, and I'm going to be able to put in an archway that, again, I got another archway online, and if you saw my last one, I couldn't believe how big it was. My husband, he was kind of laughing. He's like, "You don't appear to look at measurements online when you're buying stuff, do you?" But the sad thing is, I actually do. So I don't know why I'm always amazed every time I end up buying an archway. It is huge whenever we put it together. So I can't remember exactly how tall the archway that we're going to put. It's just a really small one. Well, I say that. Okay, so it's not as intricate as the last one. It is just a very simple archway, but it is really tall and actually a lot larger, like wide, than I was expecting. So it's good that we end up having such a huge garden bed here because I needed it to fit my giant archway that is going to have trellises for our cucumbers. So anyway, it ended up working out, and my daughter is actually, that's what box he was opening, is a tiny little box for the archway, and she's going to try to put it together here. She's like, "What are these instructions?" Because it probably had the world's worst instructions for it. So she is trying to do it there, and we end up getting it put together and bringing it outside. It is going to work out perfectly, but it's just kind of funny. It's one of those weird things you buy online and you're like, what is this? What did I get here? That was one of those purchases, and I seem to be doing a lot of those recently. My husband went inside for a little bit with the boys. It was really, really hot this day. And so I am finishing up planting a couple things. I was doing cherry tomatoes. My daughter, she filmed this. She saw this frog on this pot. We actually had to break this pot off of a plant that we bought. It was completely just, the roots had taken over. But anyway, we turn around and this frog was right here. And it almost looked like a little piece of moss, and until you got really close, and it was just, he was kind of watching us just film him. He was kind of I don't know, he was so cute. So we ended up getting, some footage of him, and then my husband came out and we got right back to work. We ended up getting 100 feet of this fencing. We've used this fencing before. We've kind of used a little bit different version of it though. I think it was like coated in something. It was black, and then they have a green version. This is just like the metal version of it, and it was the only one available in the 100 feet. So we went ahead and we got that to wrap around the entire garden. Now, when we were planning this whole thing out, I was originally going to put like another gate, not really a gate, but an opening to the garden on one side of the garden. And my husband, I don't know where it came from, but he was like, "Oh, it would be really cool to have just the arbor thing that we had built be the entrance to the garden." And so that's what we ended up doing, and it is kind of cool. The boys, my younger boys, they absolutely love it. They think it's like a secret garden, and I'm hopeful that the stuff will grow up and over it and kind of enclose it. I just think it will be so pretty. So I am so excited when the garden starts to fill out. It seems so empty right now, but once it fills out, I think it will look really cool. So what we're doing is we're kind of going around, and we are screwing the fencing to the post that we concreted in. My daughter she is being a trooper, and she is kind of wrapping it around and then getting it where we need to be. And then I am pulling it straight and tight and kind of getting it exactly where it needs to be, and then my husband screws it into the post. Now this is the post that we noticed it wasn't set all the way, so he started screwing it in, and we decided, okay, you know what, nope, we're going to let it finish setting all the way, we're going to move past it, and then we'll come back to it. So that's what we did there. We went ahead and skipped over it, and he finished screwing it all the way around to the rest of the posts, and then we're going to secure the arbor over there, which is so hard to see in these videos, but it is such a really cool feature. I'm so glad that I ended up getting it. But we're going to secure the arbor to these posts that are cemented in, so then it stays, and we don't have to worry about it, blowing out or anything. It is staked down, but the stakes are not very deep that it came with, and they're just not very good quality. So to secure it, because we are at the very end of the golf course, it's very open in our backyard, and this area of our yard gets really hit with wind frequently, and it's pretty heavy wind. So I'm going to secure it as best as I can. We have some leftover wire that we're going to wrap around the top and the bottom of each side of the entrance. So we'll do it with this post and then with the next post also. This is where the fencing started, and it had some little areas that were kind of sticking out. I ended up cutting my hand, so my daughter took over and my husband went in and cut all the sharp areas of the fencing. Now this post has had plenty of time to set, and my husband I was wanting this, so it looks like a gate, but this is the arch actually, but it looks like a gate. However, it is a part of our old fence from our dog yard. We took it apart and we're using the pieces, and me and the kids are going to paint it different colors and just decorate it. They are putting up the arch and securing it and kind of getting it in the ground. You'll see the camera, I think, move. Yeah, okay, so the camera moves a little because Lincoln, my 7-year-old, he's really into cameras, and so he was excited to play cameraman while my husband and I were kind of getting it set. This is the arch that I bought online that was a lot bigger than I was expecting it to be. So we're getting it put into the ground, and then I'm going to go and plant cucumbers around it. We also did have some sweet peas seeds from last year, so I'm going to go ahead, and I believe Theo actually planted them, but he is such a big helper in the garden. He loves planting things. He's going to be quite the gardener when he gets older, so that is what you'll see here. I'm kind of just getting things ready for him, and I plant the cucumbers just because they were kind of flimsy and I didn't want them falling apart. But he's going to go in and he'll plant the marigolds and the sweet peas as well.
You've been lost and alone in the city lights, I know. Getting hot, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the
We had a quick trip to Dollar Tree and we ended up getting these solar lights. I'll discuss them a little bit more in a little later in the video when I'm doing the tour, but they were from Dollar Tree and we weren't quite sure how they would work out. So we only got a couple. We got some for the garden and a couple for our stairs in the front of the house, but yeah, we weren't positive if they were actually going to work out, and this is a couple days later and they actually have worked out really well. So I'll probably go back and get a couple more because for what, $1.25, that is pretty cool. It's starting to rain, so I'm gonna hurry up and show you what we did in the garden. This is the front door. We moved these. These were out by the pool area and they just weren't growing, so we moved them by the front door. So maybe they were getting too much sun and hopefully they'll grow now. All right, let's go look at the garden. Okay, so we have it back here. We added fencing around, and I'm just gonna do like a quick tour of it. A lot of the plants are still seeds and you won't even really be able to see them, but you'll get the gist of it. Got my little basket out here, and then the boys for Mother's Day wanted to do wildflowers, so that's all along through here. And then we have a gate there, but it's not an actual gate. We just did it kind of for decoration, and I'm gonna end up painting it. So the only entrance to the garden is through here. So we have honeysuckle growing here. I've never grown that, so I'm hoping it does well, but it's kind of, we'll see as we go. We got these lights at Dollar Tree, so they were only $1.25, and I'm not sure how they'll hold up, but so far so good. So we'll see. We have one on each side of the entrance, and then I'm going to have to, I'll input what this is. My mother-in-law sent it, and she described it as like a purple bean. So it's going to trail up and hopefully, you know, kind of go up the fence, up the post if it needs to, and then along this as well. We have zucchini here and over here. And then I got, you know, some yellow flowers, some zinnias to kind of hopefully keep some bugs and stuff away. We got large tomatoes. I did big boy. So we got 2 of those. And then flowers. It's starting to really rain now, so I'm gonna hurry. But then we got some grape tomatoes in here. This is a basket from my son's funeral, so I wanted to plant little flowers in it. I did plant, I'm not sure, I'll have to look at the thing and I'll insert it here, but I got flowers in there and more tomatoes. I'm hoping to do a ton of stuff with tomatoes, including canning. So I got, right now we got 4 tomato plants. This is my lemon tree. I'm hoping it does okay out here. It's got a bunch of flowers on it, so hopefully it will be good. And then this bed, let me step back and show you. So this bed my husband built. He has to build another one still, but it has the trellis that we put together, and it has cucumbers, more flowers again for the bugs and all that, and then more cucumbers. We grow a lot of cucumbers. And then we have in here the seeds for sweet peas. So those are there. We have more zucchini over here. I used to grow zucchini when we lived in Illinois, but I have not been successful since we moved down here. The bugs end up taking over and they're huge. Even though I try really hard to kind of control them, I'm never really able to. So we will see with the zucchini. I have them, like I said, here, and then we have them over here in this small bed as well. And then we have more zinnias here and jalapeno peppers in this entire one. Again, we have so much that we do with jalapenos, so I'm excited that we have so many of those plants. The air just kicked on, so hopefully you can hear me. But I'm trying to think. This was a bush, and it wasn't doing too well in another part of the garden, so we ended up moving it and planting an elephant ear where this was. So then we just replanted this, and I'm hoping it does better. We'll kind of see, but it wasn't doing too hot up in the front of the house. We have okra here. Last year was the first year that I grew okra for the first time in my life and had no idea what to do. The lady at the farmer's market gave it to me and she kind of just told me what to do, and it took off. I was so excited about it. So we have that planted all in here. And then of course more flowers. And then I want to say that's it for right now. But we still have, you know, some weeding to do, some stuff to do around the garden. And we have so much more space to put more beds if we're wanting to. So right now, this is kind of what we did. And I'm pretty excited. We also got lemongrass. We put that over by the pool. I'm hoping that helps with like insects and stuff. So we got that. But for right now, this is what we got. So added this area. Ignore that. It's not doing too well. It was doing really good in my kitchen. It's lettuce that I'm regrowing. So it was doing really well, and I've done really well with this in the past, but for whatever reason, when I moved it out here, it didn't do too hot. So we might have to try a couple times with that, but that's what that is. And then also in the pot, we planted some cilantro. That just has not started yet. And we got, white birds of paradise. I was going to put this out back, kind of by the pool area in a more shaded spot, but for right now, it's just going to be here. And then if you recognize some of the stuff from inside the house, we really did not add we didn't really have to buy much. We had the mulch already. We had all the pots and stuff like that. I did buy the birds of paradise, but we've also had that actually for a while. This is hard to see, but these are roses. They've already flowered. They're super tiny, but we just got those. My husband got me those. He got me 2. So here's the other one. They've already flowered. And then the garden. Out our front door, I'm on the porch. This is the garden area. So we have a couple steps that go up, and then this little raised area. And then this is the boys' room over here. So we can see all that from the front, and it's like our magnolia tree. They are about to have some blooms on it. Oh, there's a bird in it singing. But they have, it's probably hard to tell. There are blooms all through the tree. And right now there is only one flower, but it's huge. They're like the size of my head. They're giant. And soon there will be so many more blooms all over the tree, and it will be beautiful. The lights are starting to turn on. It's getting dark. You can hear the frogs. We're just getting home from baseball. So they've had all day to charge in the sun, but they are working, which is exciting. And then even these ones are too. We also got these ones from Dollar Tree. So they're working too. And even my lantern just came on. This is the next day. This was Mother's Day, and my husband decided he was going to make dinner on the grill for us. And so that's what he's doing. He is prepping a pork butt to go on the grill and kind of smoke all day. It turned out really good. We actually tried a different version of it this time, and although I do like the one that we usually do better, this one was a really, really good one. And we used a smaller pork butt because we weren't having guests over or anything. And it had like a mop sauce is what it was called, which we don't usually do. So it was interesting to do that, but it was really good. And there was less ingredients and overall a lot less time. So it is a really good option if you're kind of short on time. Our other one, I posted a couple videos ago at least, but I did post our pork butt recipe that we usually use for years now. It's just time consuming because you have to let it brine for like 24 hours and then you smoke it for like 10 to 12 hours. It can be very time consuming, but it is definitely worth it if you give it a try. This one was a really great option to kind of just do on the spot. You don't have to let it brine for 24 hours or anything. So it was done within like, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours, I think it was. My husband, he is, if you're a follower, you know that he is not much of a cook, but he put in so much effort, and my kids are actually helping. My daughter in particular, she is quite the cook, and so she is in the background helping, and I say that with like air quotes because she is helping him. Like here she chopped up some mushrooms to put in to this like cheesy potato casserole that he's making, and so she is helping, but she gets such a kick out of him in the kitchen. She is a very good cook, and he hasn't honestly had too much practice, so he is not the greatest and he struggles a little bit, and they are kind of funny in the kitchen together. Just they're very competitive people. They're very, very similar to each other, and they tease each other so much. So I was in the kitchen also helping. I'm cutting up some watermelon now for dinner, but just being in the kitchen with them, we could not stop laughing the entire time. It was just hysterical. They are also making a cinnamon roll cake for dessert. So we had smoked pork butt on the grill. We made sandwiches with coleslaw. I cut up some watermelon. We had the cheesy potato casserole. I made a copycat version of the Chick-fil-A kale salad. So we had that, and then we had this cake. I want to say that was it. Trying to think if there was anything else, but they went all out for me for Mother's Day. It was so amazing. It was such an amazing feeling just to, you do it every day in and out, and it is exhausting and it's just wild. And then to have that appreciation and everything on Mother's Day, it was so amazing. So I am so thankful, so grateful for my bunch. They did so well this Mother's Day, and I could not be happier. So, anyway, that is all I have for you today. There's still a couple more minutes left of the video if you're wanting to stay and see how dinner turned out, but that is all I have for you today. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
You've been lost and alone in the city lights. I know, getting hot, feeling low, and it's out of your control.
This is the part where I shine.
Why are you? He looked at you like, why are you laughing?
Excuse me? Nobody can spread. I'm gonna sprinkle it though. I'm gonna. Oh. Okay.
Drizzling. That's really drizzling right now.
You've been lost in